A beautiful woman possesses a strange ability. She can see desire red lines growing above people's heads. As long as you have had physical relations with someone, a red line appears above that person's head. These red lines are also called S lines. The S stands for the first letters of 3 English words: social, sex, and secret. As physical relationships increase, the number of S lines grows accordingly. For Shin Hyun-hup, this ability is not a gift, but a curse. As a child, Shin Hyun-hup drew a picture. The picture showed her father connected not only to the red line on his wife's head, but also linked to her aunt with another red line. Her mother realized the secret hidden by the red lines. She ultimately killed her unfaithful husband with a knife. Since then, Shin Hyun-hup has frequent nightmares. She dreams of her mother covered in blood. To escape the fate of seeing the red lines, Shin Hyun-hup once considered death. But no matter what method she tried, she always miraculously survived. Completely helpless, Shin Hyun-hup had to give up the idea of suicide to avoid seeing the terrifying red lines again. Shin Hyun-hup stays indoors every day and avoids social contact. She seals the windows with carton boards. She always wears sunglasses and stays curled up at home until this day. That day, a woman was found dead in her home. Detective Han Ji-wook arrived at the scene to investigate. According to testimony from a downstairs neighbor, a man wearing a safety helmet entered the woman's apartment late last night. Han Ji-wook planned to start his investigation with this man. Shin Hyun-hup saw the news report about the case. She noticed in the footage a helmeted man entering the apartment building where the crime occurred. What caught Shin Hyun-hup's attention more was that the helmeted man had only one red line above his head. These days, having had a physical relationship with only one person is equally rare as having had relationships with 100 people. Shin Hyun-hup pointed her suspicion at the helmeted man. She walked to the window and saw he entered the apartment of the woman opposite hers. This woman often gives Shin Hyun-hup fruit. She is a warm and friendly neighbor. Shocked, Shin Hyun-hup quickly grabbed her phone to call the police, but she soon discovered the so-called helmeted man was just her female neighbor's boyfriend. The two were communicating deeply across the street. Shin Hyun-hup hurriedly hung up the emergency call. At the same time, she fell into another hallucination. She saw countless blood-red lines before her eyes. It felt like being trapped in a battlefield of lust. The next day, Han Ji-wook received a call from a colleague. He learned someone reported to the police last night. The caller coincidentally lived in his same apartment complex. The address was directly opposite his unit. Han Ji-wook immediately visited her. Through the peephole, Shin Hyun-hup saw hundreds of tangled red lines above the man's head outside. Though a detective, Han Ji-wook was a notorious player. He often fooled around with female colleagues, but never pursued serious relationships. Shin Hyun-hup refused to open the door. A male neighbor upstairs happened to come down. He explained to Han Ji-wook that a notorious Shutin lived there. Han Ji-wook persisted and kept knocking. He hoped Shin Hyun-hup would provide testimony. Shin Hyun-hup slowly opened the door a crack. She explained she had made a mistake. The helmeted man last night was the female neighbor's normal boyfriend. Han Ji-wook gave up and left. However, that night through the peephole, Shin Hyun-hup saw another helmeted man. This man also had only one red line above his head. Apart from this recent case, 3 consecutive murders had occurred locally. A junior colleague discovered that the 2 most recent female victims had contacted a certain man. This man was a local high school teacher, Mr. Oh. He lived in the same complex as Han Ji-wook. Upon seeing a photo, Han Ji-wook instantly remembered Mr. Oh was the male neighbor who explained Shin Hyun-hup was a shut-in today. The junior colleague went to investigate the suspicious Mr. Oh. He found the man's front door unlocked. Upon entering, he was horrified to find the room filled with bizarre and inexplicable red. The junior colleague immediately contacted Han Ji-wook. But who knew Mr. Oh was hiding in the darkness and ambushed him? The junior colleague suffered severe injuries. Mr. Oh then put on a helmet and went to the opposite building. Shin Hyun-hup noticed the man's movements. She saw that the red line above Mr. Oh's head was connected to the woman neighbor who often gave her fruit. She realized the woman was in danger. Shin Hyun-hup took a knife from the kitchen and timidly stepped out of her home. However, the outside world was too alien and terrifying for Shin Hyun-hup. At that moment, Shin Hyun-hup had a panic attack and fainted on the spot. Mr. Oh arrived at the woman neighbor's home. The woman thought the visitor was her boyfriend, but when the man removed his helmet, she recognized him as her ex-boyfriend who had long since broken up with her. Mr. Oh looked at the woman neighbor's head. He saw about 10 red lines above it. Enraged, the man intended to kill the woman. Fortunately, Shin Hyun-hup appeared in time, holding the knife to threaten the man to stop. Mr. Oh boldly snatched the weapon and stabbed Shin Hyun-hup. At that moment, Han Ji-wook arrived at Shin Hyun-hup's home. From afar, he saw the horrific scene unfolding in the woman neighbor's apartment opposite. At the critical moment, he shot the man from a distance. Mr. Oh was shot and wounded. With his dying breath, he saw the red lines before him fading away. The man died and the woman neighbor was rescued. But Shin Hyun-hup knew things were far from over. Earlier, Mr. Oh's muttering made Shin Hyun-hup realize the man could see the red lines too, just like her. Tonight's experience shook Shin Hyun-hup's heart. She began to realize her special ability might save others. Just then, Shin Hyun-hup received a mysterious text message. That person claimed they could also see the world Shin Hyun-hup sees. They told her to go to the local high school. There was a secret she wanted to uncover there. While Shin Hyun-hup was pondering, Han Ji-wook was still investigating the recent murders. He always felt Mr. Oh's motive for killing was not strong enough. Investigations found that before attacking, Mr. Oh kept muttering the word salvation. All signs made Han Ji-wook sense there might be more to Mr. Oh's killings. To uncover the truth, Han Ji-wook went to Mr. Oh's home. He saw that room filled with red. Turning on a flashlight and looking closely, he found the blood-like red on the wall was countless tangled and messy red lines. Back at the police station, Han Ji-wook examined photos of Mr. Oh. He noticed Mr. Oh wore glasses in the photos. However, after the incident, the glasses that should have been in the evidence box had vanished. Han Ji-wook went to the high school where Mr. Oh previously worked. He inquired with homeroom teacher Lee Ji-Eugin. He wanted to know if Mr. Oh habitually wore glasses before. Lee Ji-Eugin, a famously beautiful and easygoing teacher at the school, cared deeply for her students. She stated she had never seen Mr. Oh wear glasses. After questioning, Han Ji-wook's gaze drifted to the female teacher's chest. He noticed one button on her shirt was undone. Lee Ji-Eugin, carefree and unwary, buttoned it up right in front of Han Ji-wook. Only then did Han Ji-wook avert his desirous eyes. Later that evening, Han Ji-wook visited the bar Mr. Oh frequented. The bartender revealed that Mr. Oh had been acting strangely recently. Every time he drank, he would point at customers' heads and say different numbers. The bartender remembered clearly that Mr. Oh always wore glasses when counting. Han Ji-wook noted down each suspicious point. Before leaving, he flirted with a girl for fun. After a whole night of contemplation, Shin Hyun-hup decided to leave home to uncover the truth. Having made up her mind, Shin Hyun-hup cleaned her house and tore off the cardboard covering the windows. She stepped into the outside world. She transferred to the local high school. At this high school, Shin Hyun-hup encountered an acquaintance, Kang Seona. The two had been middle school classmates. Within the school, Kang Seona was a target of bullying. She was often dragged to the rooftop by a group of female classmates and humiliated. Coincidentally, Kang Seona was Han Ji-wook's niece. They lived under the same roof, but their relationship was not close. Kang Seona had never confessed her school experiences to her uncle. That day at school, Kang Seona was mocked by classmates again. Homeroom teacher Lee Ji-Eugin intervened to separate the fighting students. She publicly defended Kang Seona. After school that day, Kang Seona noticed a pair of glasses appeared in her locker out of nowhere. Curious, Kang Seona put them on. To her surprise, she saw a long red line growing above her own head. When her uncle Han Ji-wook came home from work, seeing hundreds of red lines above his head terrified Kang Seona. Even more, unable to understand any of this, Kang Seona ran out of the house. Outside, she saw almost everyone had varying numbers of red lines above their heads. The red lines intertwined and spread, forming a blazing world of desire. From that moment, Kang Seona suddenly understood the meaning of the red lines. Back at school, Kang Seona noticed many classmates had few or many red lines above their heads. This showed that although still minors, many boys and girls had already tasted the forbidden fruit. Among the countless students with red lines, Kang Seona focused her attention on Kim Hye-yoon, the female classmate who bullied her most frequently. She discovered Kim Hye-yoon had 2 red lines above her head. One of them connected to the Korean literature teacher, and the Korean literature teacher was also connected to another female student via a red line. Kang Seona couldn't help but lament how the world is deteriorating morally. Simultaneously, a plan formed in her mind. The next time Kim Hye-yoon bullied her, Kang Seona stopped cowering. She declared that Kim Hye-yoon should be the one feeling ashamed. Kim Hye-yoon, confused by Kang Seona's words, continued to attack her physically. Just then, Shin Hyun-hup appeared and shouted at Kim Hye-yoon to stop. Kim Hye-yoon threatened to teach this transfer student a lesson, but Shin Hyun-hup fearlessly pretended she would drag Kim Hye-yoon down with her by jumping off the building. Kim Hye-yoon's face turned pale with fear. She promised never to touch Kang Se-yeon again. However, Kang Se-yeon was plotting revenge. She secretly took photos of Kim Hye-yoon and the teacher meeting at a hotel. Kim Hye-yoon received the photos but remained unafraid. She continued her secret affair with the teacher. Later, she replied to Kang Se-yeon stating only the teacher would be punished. As a minor, she would emerge unscathed. Kang Se-yeon responded with a cold laugh. She planned to point the gun elsewhere. The next day, she sent the affair photos to the Korean literature teacher. She demanded he prepare 20 million won. She blackmailed the teacher because Kang Se-yeon planned to run away from home. She believed her uncle didn't care about her. After learning from Kim Hye-yoon that Kang Se-yeon had sent the photos, the teacher panicked. He feared his affair with a student would be discovered by his family. Besides this teacher, Kang Se-yeon also knew about affairs involving several other teachers at school. She sent each teacher their own affair photos. By holding leverage over teachers and students, Kang Se-yeon completely shed her former victim image. She thrived among her classmates. Shin Hyun-hup noticed Kang Se-yeon's change. She observed Kang Se-yeon always wearing glasses lately. She suspected these glasses were the same ones Mr. Oh wore during the crimes. That day, Shin Hyun-hup confessed the secret of the red lines to Kang Se-yeon. She worried that Kang Se-yeon's continued use of the glasses could bring fatal danger. But Kang Se-yeon acted as if she held a key to reverse her destiny. She refused to let go of the magical glasses no matter what. One evening, the Korean literature teacher messaged Kang Se-yeon saying the money was ready. He asked her to come collect it later. Before meeting the teacher, Kang Se-yeon went shopping with her new boyfriend. Unbeknownst to her, Kim Hye-yoon had been trailing her all along. It turned out that day, Kim Hye-yoon had overheard every word of Kang Se-yeon and Shin Hyun-hup's conversation. She had thus learned about the red lines. While tailing Kang Se-yeon, she noticed the small bag containing the glasses fall to the ground unnoticed. Kim Hye-yoon immediately snatched the bag secretly. After putting on the glasses, Kim Hye-yoon saw the crimson world of desire everywhere. Kang Se-yeon, frantic over losing the glasses, suspected Shin Hyun-hup had stolen them. Afterwards, Kang Se-yeon pretended everything was fine and went to school to meet the Korean literature teacher. The teacher pitifully begged Kang Se-yeon. He had a child and his wife was about to give birth to their second. He couldn't afford to lose his job. Kang Se-yeon felt no sympathy. The teacher had also stood by when Kim Hye-yoon bullied her. While they argued, the teacher received a message from his wife. Somehow, his wife had discovered his secret affair with a student. The teacher furiously accused Kang Se-yeon of sending the photos to his wife under the night sky. Worried about Kang Se-yeon, Shin Hyun-hup rushed to the school. But what she witnessed was Kang Se-yeon plummeting from the rooftop. Kang Se-yeon fell to her death. Shin Hyun-hup was at a loss. She began to realize these mysterious and bizarre red lines would lead everyone into an unknown abyss. Yesterday, Kang Se-yeon met with the Korean language teacher. She blackmailed him over his affair with a student. Shortly after, Kang Se-yeon unexpectedly fell from a height. Shin Hyun-hup rushed to the school and witnessed Kang Se-yeon's accident. He urgently took her to the hospital. Soon her uncle Han Ji-wook arrived at the hospital upon hearing the news. Looking at the worried Han Ji-wook, Shin Hyun-hup stated firmly she believed there was something suspicious about Kang-ae's fall because Kang Se-yeon fell at school. The school was in complete chaos the next day, especially since the Korean language teacher was also absent without reason. Seeing Han Ji-wook keeping vigil by Kang Se-yeon's hospital bed, Shin Hyun-hup decided to uncover the truth. On the rooftop where Kang Se-yeon had the accident, a female classmate approached Shin Hyun-hup. She shared Shin Hyun-hup's view and insisted the fall was not an accident. The girl also mentioned that Kim Hye-yoon, a female classmate who often bullied Kang Se-yeon, was absent from school that day. Han Ji-wook came to the school to investigate. He found a selfie with a male student in Kang Se-yeon's bag. It was taken the night of the incident. The boy was Kang Se-yeon's classmate. According to him, after taking photos together that night, Kang Se-yeon suddenly ran away frantically, seemingly searching for something she had lost. Checking surveillance footage, Han Ji-wook indeed spotted something suspicious. Kim Hye-yoon picked up a small pouch Kang Se-yeon had dropped on the ground. Tracing subsequent footage, Han Ji-wook also noticed Kim Hye-yoon suddenly wearing glasses. Unfortunately, later footage provided no further clues. Even though no clear evidence of external force was found, Han Ji-wook still suspected his niece was murdered. He even argued with colleagues over this. Yet frustratingly, his niece's phone remained locked. At school, affair photos of the Korean language teacher and Kim Hye-yoon were suddenly uploaded to the forum. Now everyone knew the teacher's true nature. Soon Han Ji-wook arrived at a new crime scene. This time the deceased was the Korean language teacher. The teacher died in a garage. A suicide note was left in the car. It roughly stated shame over the inappropriate relationship with a student. Han Ji-wook, however, keenly sensed something abnormal. Judging by the condition of the teacher's body, he had been dead for at least 3 days, but the surroundings were a parking lot. Generally, in such a public place, a body wouldn't remain undiscovered for 3 days. Intuition told Han Ji-wook the teacher's death, and the leaked school affair photos seemed to have a mysterious pusher behind them. To investigate further, Han Ji-wook visited Shin Hyun-hup. He hoped to get more clues from Shin Hyun-hup. Shin Hyun-hup instead asked if Han Ji-wook had seen Kang Seona's glasses. Han Ji-wook felt deeply puzzled. He wanted to ask more about the glasses, but Shin Hyun-hup refused to explain. She only told Han Ji-wook to find the glasses. She promised to reveal all secrets once he found them. Neither knew these mysterious glasses were currently on an English teacher's desk. That day, English teacher Kim Jong-woo unexpectedly found glasses on his desk. Curious, he asked beautiful teacher Lee Ji-yoojin about them. Lee Ji-yoojin took the glasses and smiled a barely noticeable smile. She then told Kim Jong-woo the glasses suited him and urged him to try them on. Kim Jong-woo put them on. Instantly, he saw a world woven with red threads. He saw varying numbers of S-lines above the teachers' heads. Just then, Han Ji-wook came to find Lee Ji-yoojin. Seeing hundreds of red threads then, Han Ji-wook came to find Lee Ji-yoojin. Seeing hundreds of red threads shocked. Yet he immediately understood what the red threads meant. After work, Kim Jong-woo wore the glasses to his sister's house for dinner. He saw red threads connecting his sister and brother-in-law's heads. His brother-in-law asked why Kim Jong-woo suddenly called his wedding. Kim Jong-woo answered truthfully. He discovered his fiancée was unfaithful. Hearing unfaithful, his sister seemed uneasy. His brother-in-law loudly praised Kim Jong-woo's decision. After drinking, Kim Jong-woo and his brother-in-law took the elevator together. He was surprised to see one red thread from his brother-in-law's head piercing through the elevator. It appeared connected to a fourth-floor residence. Suspecting his brother-in-law was having an affair, Kim Jong-woo deliberately pressed the fourth-floor button when re-entering the elevator. He secretly watched his brother-in-law's reaction. When the elevator doors opened, the teacher indeed saw that red thread from his brother-in-law's head stretching far toward the residence at the end of the corridor. The next day at school with these remarkable glasses, Kim Jong-woo saw the disgraceful affairs among teachers. Apparently, colleagues who seemed to merely pass by each other actually had secret relationships. Kim Jong-woo asked Lee Ji-yoojin what she would do if she discovered someone close was having an affair. Lee Ji-yoojin answered with a smile, she would expose everything. That evening at his sister's doorstep, Kim Jong-woo saw a misdelivered package. According to his sister, the package was from the neighbor at the end of the fourth-floor corridor. That household often wrote the wrong address. Thinking of where the red thread from his brother-in-law connected, Kim Jong-woo sensed something wrong. He took the package to that fourth-floor household. He happened to see the woman from that home returning. As the woman picked up the package, Kim Jong-woo went to the apartment mailboxes. He found the fourth-floor woman's mail there. Learning the woman's name Kim Jong-woo no longer trusted his brother-in-law. One night, the teacher followed his brother-in-law to a hotel. Sure enough, the brother-in-law was having dinner with that female neighbor. He also gave her an expensive necklace. Kim Jong-woo secretly checked their hotel room number while unnoticed. Red threads crisscrossed the hotel corridors, forming a vivid red map of desire. The teacher went to their room door and grabbed his brother-in-law, questioning him fiercely. After being exposed, the brother-in-law promised to resolve it. He begged Kim Jong-woo not to tell his wife. The teacher gave him only one night. But the next day, the brother-in-law still hadn't returned home. Kim Jong-woo checked the social media account of the neighbor involved with his brother-in-law. To his shock, she had shared pregnancy photos. The teacher was furious. He returned to the apartment to confront his brother-in-law, but arriving downstairs, he saw a small car accident scene. The driver was his sister. Clearly, she already knew about her husband's affair. Just then, the brother-in-law rushed back, not concerned for his wife, but caring for his mistress instead. Kim Jong-woo swung a hard punch at his brother-in-law. He called him a scumbag. The argument between the two was stopped by his sister. From his sister, Kim Jong-woo learned a truth that shocked him. The real mistress was not the female neighbor, but his sister. And that man was not his sister's husband, but the female neighbor's husband. After being discovered by the teacher booking a hotel room, the man decided to end the affair with the teacher's sister. Then, after being cruelly abandoned by the man, his sister impulsively chose to drive into the man's wife. Han Ji-wook continued investigating the case. In his niece's room, he discovered a notebook. Inside, it was filled with drawings of the red world seen through the glasses. At this point, Shin Hyun-hup had no choice but to confess the whole truth to this officer. Learning about the mysterious world of the glasses and red threads, Han Ji-wook seemed skeptical. If it were true, Han Ji-wook became more suspicious that something strange had happened to his niece. It must be related to these glasses. At school, the class president looked sweet and had a gentle personality. He seemed to have feelings for Shin Hyun-hup and invited her to the pool. Shin Hyun-hup jumped into the pool water. The class president put a coat over her drenched body. At that moment, Shin Hyun-hup felt a long-lost warmth. By the pool, the class president treated Shin Hyun-hup to instant noodles. Shin Hyun-hup let her guard down. She told the class president the secret about the red threads buried deep in her heart. To her surprise, the class president chose to believe her. He thought Shin Hyun-hup had no reason to lie and even found her extraordinary. Returning home at night, thinking about the class president's warm words, Shin Hyun-hup saw a wonderful red thread growing from her own head. Elsewhere, a female suspect came to the police station. During the conversation, a junior officer noticed Han Ji-wook and the woman had once been in a relationship, but recently the womanizing Han Ji-wook hadn't dated any women for a while. When asked by the junior about this topic, an image of the beautiful teacher Lie Ji-yu-jin fastening her buttons appeared in Han Ji-wook's mind. He admitted that now he was simply curious about Lie Ji-yu-jin. During case analysis, the junior officer speculated either Kim Hye-yoon pushed Kang Seona off the building or the Korean language teacher did it. Yet strangely, Kim Hye-yoon had now vanished without leaving any life records. Meanwhile, the Korean language teacher's family stated he had a fear of heights. It was unlikely he would push someone from a high place. Han Ji-wook felt stuck. Suddenly, he recalled his niece mentioning Shin Hyun-hup's mother killing her father. Checking related materials, he found records stating Shin Hyun-hup once described her father's affair using imagined lines as a child. Also, in photos, young Shin Hyun-hup's gaze wasn't directed at the camera. Instead, she looked toward a strange angle. Combining this with the paranormal case files he'd seen at Shin Hyun-hup's home, Han Ji-wook began to believe Shin Hyun-hup's claims. To understand the situation, Han Ji-wook questioned Shin Hyun-hup. He wanted to know if Kang Seona also had red threads above her head. Shin Hyun-hup didn't answer directly, but her reaction convinced Han Ji-wook and Kang Seona had them too. Han Ji-wook wondered who Kang Seona's red threads connected to. Shin Hyun-hup confessed the person connected to Kang Seona's red threads wasn't any classmate. That night, Shin Hyun-hup noticed a news report. Police had arrested a random killing suspect. When captured, the suspect kept laughing wildly. He claimed he was now clean. Shin Hyun-hup observed the suspect also wore glasses. During the investigation, Shin Hyun-hup worked part-time at an inn. The inn had men and women seeking food and sex daily. The red thread symbolizing desire always tangled above these people's heads. That day, the class president and a female classmate came to the motel to visit Shin Hyun-hup. They also peeked into this small world full of desire. In the afternoon, a pink-haired woman came to the motel alone. She specified a particular room to stay in. Though dressed up, the female classmate recognized her as Kim Min-seong from the school administration office. Kim Min-seong also wore glasses and could see the bizarre red thread world. At school, Kim Min-seong secretly admired the handsome but lonely music teacher. On this day, beautiful melodies came from the music classroom. Kim Min-seong was drawn in and talked with the teacher. The man gently asked about Kim Min-seong's dreams. He recognized her potential. Being acknowledged by her crush made Kim Min-seong ecstatic. Looking in the mirror, she saw a red thread connecting her and the teacher. Another day, Kim Min-seong shed her ordinary appearance and put on a pink wig. She wore a red dress and came to the hotel. Again, she chose that familiar room. Curious, Shin Hyun-hup eavesdropped at the door. She found Kim Min-seong seemingly talking to herself inside. From these words, Shin Hyun-hup learned Kim Min-seong's secret to pursue her dream of becoming an actress. Kim Min-seong often came to practice lines and free herself in quiet rooms. Once by chance, she found strange glasses inside a room. Wearing them revealed a scarlet world covered in threads. Guided by desire, Kim Min-seong began spying on the next room. She saw men and women entangled physically. It was a world of inflamed passion. From that day, Kim Min-seong became a spectator of that world. Today, new guests checked into the adjacent room. Spying, Kim Min-seong saw it was her beloved music teacher. Originally, Kim Min-seong anticipated seeing more of the teacher's private moments, but soon an actress arrived and kissed the teacher passionately. During this, their red threads tightly intertwined, watching everything across from them. Kim Min-seong, intensely jealous, she extended her stay that day. The next day, she brought a fire extinguisher and drugged a bottle. When the actress returned to the hotel, Kim Min-seong knocked her out with the extinguisher. Then she peeled off the woman's clothes and put them on herself. She copied the woman's appearance exactly. Then she went to the music teacher's room next door. Under the man's astonished gaze, Kim Min-seong climbed onto the teacher's bed. She felt hollow and craved the man to fill her desires. The music teacher only thought Kim Min-seong was insane. He tried to get up and leave, but drugged. His body went limp and he collapsed on the spot. Kim Min-seong wildly kissed the unconscious music teacher. She snuggled next to the man she adored. Soon she noticed the man's head bleeding from the earlier fall. Failing to revive him, Kim Min-seong acted out her suppressed desires on the teacher's body. After venting, she no longer wanted to live. Not long after, Shin Hyun-hup found the trapped actress. Learning of the madwoman's actions, she saw the death scenes of both the music teacher and Kim Min-seong. Han Ji-wook arrived to investigate. Shin Hyun-hup revealed Kim Min-seong also wore glasses. This version of Kim Min-seong seemed utterly unlike her usual self at school. Shin Hyun-hup warned Han Ji-wook the glasses were extremely dangerous. Anyone could get dragged into death because of them. Staring at his unconscious niece in the hospital bed, Han Ji-wook became certain he must start investigating the glasses. Back at the hotel, Han Ji-wook found glasses hidden under the bathtub. Curious, he put them on. To his shock, he saw hundreds of terrifying red threads densely covering his own head. After putting on the special glasses, Han Ji-wook began to see the world of desire marked by red-shaped lines. After confirming the meaning of these red lines, Han Ji-wook noticed that his niece also had a red line on her head. He took the boy who dated his niece to the hospital that day, only to find that the red lines on their heads did not connect. One day, middle school student Gina reported being assaulted by a male classmate. However, Han Ji-wook clearly saw 4 red lines on her head, suggesting she might have been with 4 people. Gina, Kang Seona, and Shin Hyun-hup were classmates. To investigate, Han Ji-wook went to the school and encountered the beautiful teacher Lee Ji-eugin again. To his surprise, Lee Ji-eugin had no red lines on her head. He concluded that she was either single by choice or remained chaste before marriage. At school, Han Ji-wook met the male classmate accused by Gina. Yet the boy remained unnervingly calm, insisting he had no interest in Gina. As he left, Han Ji-wook bumped into Shin Hyun-hup. Shin Hyun-hup demanded Han Ji-wook hand over the glasses, warning him they were extremely dangerous. Han Ji-wook refused, insisting on using them to uncover the truth. During their argument, teacher Lee Ji-eugin walked over. Han Ji-wook invited her to dinner, unaware that after he left, Lee Ji-eugin gave a mysterious smile. Her eyes, like Shin Hyun-hup's, she could also see the world of red lines. Han Ji-wook continued the investigation. Gina had been an idle trainee. The entertainment company's CEO revealed to Han Ji-wook that Gina often encouraged other trainees to drink. Han Ji-wook's junior officer suspected she might be falsely accusing the boy. Han Ji-wook questioned Gina and found out she had deleted messages with the boy, washed her underwear from that day, and only reported the incident a week later. All of this severely undermined her testimony. To verify her claims, Han Ji-wook deliberately opened the door only to see that Gina's 4 red lines did not connect to the boy's red line. This made Han Ji-wook even more suspicious that she had fabricated the accusation. Night, Shin Hyun-hup waited at Han Ji-wook's doorstep. Han Ji-wook spoke of the glasses, believing they could help many despite the danger. Hearing this, Shin Hyun-hup stopped resisting and later provided a clue after learning about Gina's case. She clearly remembered that a week ago, Gina had no red lines on her head. Han Ji-wook began to suspect something was off and decided to reinvestigate. That night, he visited the male classmate's home. The boy's room was unnervingly clean, as if carefully arranged. Facing the officer, the boy remained calm, claiming he had only carried the drunk Gina to bed that night. But Han Ji-wook noticed the mattress didn't match the room's style, so he and his junior searched the trash dump. There, they found the discarded old mattress thrown away despite being in good condition. This convinced Han Ji-wook the case was suspicious. The next day, Han Ji-wook summoned the boy to the police station again. Under questioning, the boy admitted that Gina had begged for alcohol that night, so he bought it from a convenience store. Checking the store's security footage, Han Ji-wook confirmed the timing matched. But soon he noticed 4 other male classmates of Gina also appeared in the footage. With the glasses, Han Ji-wook clearly saw that each of the 4 boys had gained a red line. After leaving the building at school, Shin Hyun-hup observed Gina's red lines connecting to all 4 of them. Han Ji-wook summoned each boy separately for questioning. Focusing on the most timid one, he took the boy to the accused building, while his junior pretended to be stern, acting as if they were taking him to the crime scene. After some convincing, the boy quickly confessed, admitting that he and the other 3 had assaulted Gina. But the mastermind and the one who drugged her was the original male classmate. After the timid boy confessed, the other 3 boys gave identical statements. Han Ji-wook also found the drug used to knock out the girl. At the accused's home with irrefutable evidence, the boy finally admitted everything, but still insisted he was innocent. Han Ji-wook angrily called him a scum. Though he hadn't assaulted the girl, he was the most despicable instigator. With the case resolved, Han Ji-wook received a call from the nursing home, learning his father had been taken away. Checking the security footage, he saw the kidnapper was teacher Lee Ji-Eugin. At the same time, Lee Ji-Eugin sent him a photo of his niece Kang Seona hospitalized. Han Ji-wook felt uneasy, instructing his junior to investigate Lee Ji-Eugin's true identity. While rushing to the hospital, seeing Kang Seona safely asleep, he breathed a sigh of relief until he noticed a red line on her head stretching down the hallway. Connecting to someone, cautiously drawing his gun. He was stunned to see his missing father enter the room. Horrified, Han Ji-wook realized the red line connected Kang Seona to his father, her grandfather. Understanding what his father had done, his anger peaked. He never imagined his father could be so vile as Han Ji-wook bared the beast Shin Hyun-hup's relationship with the class president blossomed. The president was kind and naive, drawing Shin Hyun-hup in. They kissed at a hotel, and afterward Shin Hyun-hup saw a red line connecting them. That night, Shin Hyun-hup's birthday, the president went out to buy her a cake. Waiting, Shin Hyun-hup gazed at a shop mirror, watching the red line on her head slowly fade away. Meanwhile, the class president died violently on the street. This was why the red line on Shin Hyun-hup's head disappeared. Witnessing the boy she liked die in agony, Shin Hyun-hup sobbed uncontrollably. She realized she was cursed. Anyone close to her would meet a tragic end. At that moment, a mysterious figure sent her a message. "Happy birthday. Come to the room of separation." Attached was a video showing her best friend being kidnapped. Helpless, Shin Hyun-hup contacted Han Ji-wook for help. She confessed a secret no one knew. Every year on her birthday, she received a card from this person. Gradually, she realized someone was waiting for her to grow up. Now it seemed the wait was for this very night. Han Ji-wook concluded Lee Ji-Eugin was behind it all. He had checked there was no record of such a person. That night, to uncover the truth, Han Ji-wook and Shin Hyun-hup went to the school. They rushed toward a lit classroom. But when Shin Hyun-hup entered first, Han Ji-wook found the room empty. In another dimension, Shin Hyun-hup found her kidnapped friend inside the classroom. After rescuing her, the 2 girls ran through the school searching for Shin Hyun-hup. Strangely, they kept circling the same floor as if trapped in a ghostly maze. To escape, they climbed to the roof. Han Ji-wook reached the roof too, but instead of finding them, he stepped into a parallel world. Inside, he saw countless odd people. They wore identical clothes and glasses as if performing some ritual. One woman held a knife, threatening to kill the bound man before her. She vowed to cut off her last sin. Long ago, after breaking up with her ex, his intimate videos of her were leaked online. She faced public scorn. In despair, she met Lee Ji-Eugin, who gave her the glasses. When she wore them, she saw the scarlet world of desires around her. Li Ji-Yujin warned, soon people wouldn't need the glasses to see this world. Then the red lines on everyone's heads would become their shame. Li Ji-Yujin convinced the woman to kill men. If she slaughtered everyone she'd slept with, the red line on her head would vanish, leaving her cleansed. Believing him, the woman took up a knife. One by one, she slaughtered her exes. As she killed, her own red line faded. Now her eyes wild, she raised the blade toward her final victim. Blood spattered as she killed her last ex. Behind her, a monstrous red line emerged from the other world. As the red line manifested, the friend on the school rooftop suddenly got the glasses. She went mad, screaming. Teacher Li Ji-Yujin said, if Shin Hyunhup dies, we won't need the glasses to see the red lines. In the other world, Li Ji-Yujin shed her disguise. A massive red orb hovered above her. She was the high priestess of desire. She uncovered a cloth before Han Ji-wook. Beneath it was his father. Li Ji-Yujin handed Han Ji-wook a knife, urging him to kill the beast to save Kang Seona. Han Ji-wook hesitated. Li Ji-Yujin snatched the blade and killed the man in front of him. Han Ji-wook drew his gun, but bullets did nothing. Li Ji-Yujin grabbed him, admitting, I made Kang Seona fall to make you care about your niece. Meanwhile, on the rooftop, the frenzied friend tried to kill Shin Hyunhup. In the struggle, Shin Hyunhup stomped on and shattered the glasses. The friend snapped back to normal, but Shin Hyunhup's eyes changed color. Bloody tears froze on her scarred cheeks. As the blood spread, Shin Hyunhup entered the other world. She saw Li Ji-Yujin attacking Shin Hyunhup. Facing the confused Shin Hyunhup, Li Ji-Yujin revealed everything. In her view, humans crave to see the S-lines on themselves and others, to glimpse the hidden desires of their kind. She had only given them glasses to voice humanity's hunger. In the other world, Li Ji-Yujin's followers, convinced, removed their glasses en masse. They trapped Shin Hyunhup in the center. Li Ji-Yujin approached Shin Hyunhup, ready to strike, but suddenly Shin Hyunhup's long-lost mother appeared, blocking the blade for her daughter. It turned out the mother had also been given the miraculous glasses. She had used them to witness her husband's affair with her sister. Becoming one of Li Ji-Yujin's disciples, Li Ji-Yujin refused to give up, slashing Shin Hyunhup fiercely. As Shin Hyunhup's wounds worsened, her blood dripped slowly. The next moment, a torrent of crimson sprayed outward, covering everything in red lines. Under Li Ji-Yujin's spell, the lines spread across the world. Li Ji-Yujin claimed Shin Hyunhup's death would grant humans godlike eyes to see desires. But just as Li Ji-Yujin was distracted, Shin Hyunhup stabbed her. Li Ji-Yujin smiled, satisfied. She declared their missions on Earth complete. With Li Ji-Yujin dead, her followers regained their senses and fled. The other world vanished. Everyone reappeared on the school rooftop. But now, red lines filled the sky. From this moment on, humans no longer needed glasses to see the world of desires. As the lines were seen and desires revealed, secrets were exposed. Chaos erupted to hide their truths. People began wearing masks. In this world, the once abnormal Shin Hyunhup became ordinary. With her grandfather dead, Kang Seona's red line disappeared upon waking. She reconciled with her uncle Han Ji-wook, adjusting to this strange new world. One day, Shin Hyunhup visited the grave of the class president. Amidst desire red light, voices called her name. Li Ji-Yujin reappeared. It seemed the world of desires would never end. If you guys like this video, so please subscribe to this channel, and thanks for watching.